Hi everyone, and again, welcome to yet another video. My name is Comfort for those who are new here. Welcome to my channel where we are doing intentional reflection on who we are and how we're wired. And if you've been here before, welcome again. Good to see you. I hope you've enjoyed some of the videos that I've been doing previously. And yeah, this is just our space where we have conversations. Those conversations that, I don't know, sometimes they're internal conversations, sometimes they are known conversations. So yeah, without further ado, I just wanted us to get into the video for this week. Actually, we're going to do it as a series because I think it's such a powerful observation and a topic that I wanted to give it a bit of an extended time. So we're going to be doing it over three videos. So yeah. And so today's, I think it's a series around the question, very simple, 4 words, how can I help? And I will do it in 3 persons or 3 observations. I don't know how best to say it. Basically 3 views, 3 perspectives of how that question can be asked and how it can be. How do you respond to it? Again, sometimes it depends on who's asking and how they're asking. So how do you respond to it? So without taking too much time, and again, just before I go far, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. But I just pray that this time is going to be something that will guide you through and help you really go through and understand what you like, just to think about things. So I've been thinking about something quite ordinary recently. And you know, those like when I was talking about how can I help, the first time when it came to me, I was just like, oh, that's a very interesting thing. And I did think immediately about the usuals. You know, you see people in shops or standing next to tills, and they'll either wear a t-shirt or they'll actually ask, how can I help? That type of thing. And it's a simple question and we hear it all the time, yeah? But then most of us don't, and you think that's the thing, when you hear it, you don't panic. You just have this warm sense of, it's like an invitation. Because usually by the time you've walked into the shop, we've already thought about what we're coming for. So most of us don't panic about when we're asked that question. So either you're like, no, I'm okay, or yeah, actually, this is what I'm looking for. So that's why it doesn't really become a scary question for anyone, because we know what we're looking for, and we know exactly what we need when we're walking into this shop. But imagine walking into a shop and being asked, how can I help? And suddenly realizing, you don't actually know. You hadn't thought about it. You hadn't really decided. You know you need something, but you can't quite put it in words. So, and I think that picture, just the thought of that stayed with me. Just think about it. You know you're going into a shop. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you just like the shop and you're just curious about it, but yeah, just think about it. You know you went into a shop and you needed something, but you're not quite sure what exactly it is. It might be that you have the general idea of what you want, but the specific thing, or you get there and you're just overwhelmed by the options. So it's that kind of thing. So when I thought about that, it actually just stayed with me for a bit. And I thought, what if there are moments in scripture where God places the same question in front of people? Not because he doesn't know what they need. I mean, it's God. He obviously knows what you need. But because he's inviting you, or inviting those who he was talking to in the scripture, to be clear enough to ask. Yeah, just putting you in that place of, okay, what exactly are you asking for? And I immediately started, actually this is where it came from when I was reading the book of Nehemiah. And one of my favorite examples for this particular topic on how can I help It's because when we first meet him, he isn't like immediately rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, and we know that's his story. But when we first meet him, he's been told this news, and then he immediately goes. This news saddens him, and then he goes immediately into praying and fasting and being sad about it, and he's grieving over what has been broken. For months, that's where the story kind of stays. In prayer, in longing, and he's doing this all in his private time. Like he's just like going through all this in his own way, trying to process that news of Jerusalem's walls are, they've been destroyed. But eventually, and because he's doing his work, he's still going to serve the king as the cupbearer that he was. So obviously, once he goes to the king, he kind of has to look a certain way, and then that's why he's doing it all in private. But eventually, it starts to like really sink in, and the king notices. And when he sees Nehemiah's sadness, and then he asks him, "What is it you want?" And I love that moment, because Nehemiah had got to this point. Sometimes when you think you're hiding your feelings for so long, and then eventually it's just like you can't hide it anymore. It's just too it's like there, it's on your face. And so the king just asked, "What is it that you want?" And suddenly the burden that Nehemiah was feeling, and carrying quietly and privately, is placed before him publicly. Like he has the opportunity to kind of just let it out, particularly letting it out. And that question has changed. He's no longer asking, "God, please, will you restore Jerusalem? God, why?" This is what he's been praying about. "God, why won't you fix Jerusalem? Why don't you fix it? Won't you restore Jerusalem?" And suddenly now it's the king who's asking him, "What is your request?" So he knows that his burden is he wants Jerusalem to be fixed. But he hasn't had someone else ask him and give him that opportunity to let it out and be specific about it. And I'm praying that as I say this is kind of making sense. But let's just keep going, and I hope the Lord will actually reveal it a bit more. So what amazes me about the king asking Nehemiah is that Nehemiah, in that moment when this question is put right in front of him, he doesn't vent, and he doesn't or he doesn't freeze up. He doesn't try and pretend, because it's the king. He doesn't try to create a new picture of his vision and his problems and how it is, like recreating it. He already knew what it is specifically that he wanted, because he had been carrying it in prayer, asking the Lord all this time. He had wrestled with it. He knew what rebuilding would require. He knew what letters he needed. He had really thought through every detail. He knew what timber would be required. His prayer was actually preparation rather than, of course it started when he was grieving about it, but then eventually the more he kept in that prayer, the more he was just his vision was starting to come a reality in his eye. He knew the details of, if he was given the opportunity to do this, this is how he would be able to fix it. And, just moving from that, you see that prayer didn't remove the need to ask. It just prepared him to ask with clarity. And I think that is really a powerful thing. I wonder how many of us are actually praying about something without allowing God to clarify what we're actually asking for. Does that make, yeah? Okay, so let's use another example. Because what I really want us to get to this point is, what I want you to understand is, what if God asks you, how can I help? So in the story of Nehemiah and the king, if you change the perspective now, this is you, change roles. switch roles. You are the one who is in presence of the King, our Lord, and God is basically asking you, how can I help? Because he's heard your prayers, he's been hearing you, he's been seeing you, and of course he's God, he knows, which is a different thing. But what if God finally asks you through your prayers and you're quiet in your private time, he asks you, okay, so what is your request? So how can I help you specifically? So let's go to another story. When we look at blind Bartimaeus in the New Testament, he cries out. This is the blind guy who was on the street. He cries out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And then Jesus stops and calls him over. And then this is again another point. Jesus asks him the question. It's very fascinating how he asks, but Jesus does ask, what do you want me to do for you? This is Jesus. I'm sure he knows. I mean, he's a blind man. Like, he's literally saying the guy is blind. But Jesus still goes ahead to ask. Now think about that for a moment. Jesus already knew he was blind. And so he wasn't asking because he lacked information. Jesus was just inviting Bartimaeus to name the desire he had been crying for. He just wanted to hear it from him, his mouth. Say it to me. Say it specifically. I know what you need, but I want you to say it. Name it, is what he is asking. So he was inviting him to say it. And then he said, Lord, I want to see. There's something very deeply formative about that. Because sometimes God asks questions, not because he needs those answers, but because we ourselves need them. And it's because something happens when a burden moves from our hearts to our lips, when it's on your heart and it's internal. Once you voice it, once you put words to it, once you let it out, when you do that, the desire becomes clear. When the longing is spoken, the faith becomes very specific. It becomes so specific to you. And another example, the third example that I really love so much is Esther. The king repeatedly asked her, what is your request? And she had been burdened with all, her people were going to be killed and all this, and Mordecai had been telling her about it. So obviously she's really burdened by this. And she keeps meeting the king and saying and planning to have something to say to the king, but she doesn't get to say it. And the king just kept asking, what is your request? How can I help? And again, the opportunity is placed right before her. And finally, the door opens when she speaks. She speaks because the question has now been asked. Yeah? Now she must speak. Now she must ask. And that takes courage. Because to be able to actually just say what you've been desperately wanting in your heart before, in public, or even just before someone. Sometimes it's not even like someone so big. It could be your family member, it could be your husband, it could be your dad, your parents, or your boss. But when you're in that place where now your longing needs to be put to words and said out, it does take a bit of courage with that. And I find it interesting that in all these three stories, they share the same pattern. There was prayer. And in that prayer, because that prayer was going so long, there was preparation. They had the idea, they nurtured it, they got to that place where it was so specific. And when the Lord actually saw that it was so ready and ripe and ready, that preparation was ripe and ready through the prayer, then the opportunity comes. And finally, the question is then brought at that point. What is your request? How can I help? So I'm just wondering whether there are many times many of us are waiting for God to open the door. While God is quietly preparing us to know what He'll ask when He does. So that times when we feel like our prayers are taking so long, when we're waiting and it just feels like it's going on and on, I think sometimes that is God just allowing us to really allow the idea and what you're praying for to really mature. And so that when the opportunity arrives for you to present it, it actually it is ready, and it is ready to be delivered. Because sometimes when opportunities arrive too early and you're not yet prepared for it, it just becomes like, the interview comes suddenly, or the meeting happens suddenly, or someone offers to help you suddenly. And those conversations, sometimes it feels like, what's going on? But if you never sat long enough to be clear, specifically sitting with the Lord about what's on your heart, if you're not sitting long enough with God about it, we may find ourselves unprepared for the very answer we've been praying for. So the same thing, when an interview comes suddenly and you're not prepared for it, or the meeting happens, or someone offers to help so suddenly and you've not yet prepared for it, it just becomes, you're just unprepared, really. So I'm beginning to think that one of the gifts of prayer, of spending time in prayer, is clarity. Not simply for the comfort of it, which I think we do definitely get, and also not simply for the peace of it, which we also get, but for the clarity. Perhaps prayer actually helps us discover what we are actually carrying. It just helps us to process it better. What matters? What are we asking for? What would we like? What are we willing to steward? And and I think the previous videos that I've been doing, we've talked about reflecting on assignments, on waiting, on discernment, and on stewardship. These are things that we've talked about in the previous videos, so feel free to go and check them out as well. But I can now see how this all connects, all of them. The clarity and the prayer time. Because clarity often comes before courage. Before Nehemiah built anything, he became so clear in that time of prayer and preparation of what he would get if he was given the chance to do it. Same with Bartimaeus. He received his sight before he named his desire. And the same with Esther. Before Esther acted, she knew her request. So sometimes that's where, so maybe that's where some of us are today. Not in a season where we're supposed to force doors to open, but and not in a season where we just need another strategy, but in a season where God is now quietly asking you, stay with me here for a moment, long enough to hear what you want, to be clear about what you want, and just stay in my presence. Keep praying. Let's just keep going through that. Pray, keep going, praying it. I'm not being quiet. I'm not being silent on you, child. That's what God is saying. Because one day then, when He knows that the time has come, the opportunity will arrive. The King may ask, Jesus may ask, that conversation you're hoping for may happen, that email will come, that door will be opened. And in that moment, when that does happen, the question will no longer be, have you been praying about it? It will become, what is your request? How can I help? So that's why I really strongly believe that hidden seasons matter so much. Times when you are in your secret place, in the quiet, in the private, when things seem like they're not happening, I think we should treasure those moments of just spending time in our own private time to pray. As we call them, hidden seasons. Sometimes I've called them wildernesses. They don't just prepare circumstances. They prepare us, our hearts, the situation, the plans. They refine those vague ideas and desires that are going on into very clear burdens. They turn dreams that we're having into convictions, and that's such a powerful thing, because they shape those prayers into participation. You move from, oh, this is what I've been praying about, into now this is what I actually want to act on. So as we finish this particular first part of the trilogy of the series I'm doing, I just want to challenge you, or just give you some moment to think about. If you're in a season of waiting, I just want to encourage you, actually, don't rush it. And you will sense, because someone will ask, but how do I know if it's a season of waiting? So just don't rush it. You will know that it just feels like it's a waiting period. And let God clarify what He's placed in your heart. Because you'll know it's a season of waiting because you're not too clear about what it is. Sometimes you're like, oh, but I just want to start and go. But no, if you don't still feel confident enough that not too sure what exactly it is, just pray and the Lord will let you know. And I know there are moments when He will push you to it, and sometimes we obviously take too much time. We may also take us too much time waiting in the preparing time, but you will know when He has clarified what's in your heart. And because that time when he's clarifying it, He's also preparing you for the moment when the question changes. Yeah, not from will you keep praying about this, but He will eventually get that question to the point where He's now saying, how can I help? And maybe sometimes the answer to our prayers begin with the courage to answer that question that God asks. So I want to leave that question with you for today's episode. And I just want to challenge you. If God opened the door you have been praying for tomorrow, would you know what to ask for? You've been praying about something, and so if God came to you today and said, okay, my child, I've heard your prayer. How can I help? Would you have the answer? Or do you feel like He is still just waiting with you in the quiet and still gently forming that answer in you today? So I'll just leave that with you. And again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. I hope it's been helpful. Do let me know if you have any questions or thoughts about this episode in the comments below. And again, don't forget to subscribe. And I look forward to, because subscribing really does help grow the channel. And just a thumbs up if you thought it was nice. You may not leave a comment, but a thumbs up will also help to know that you like this video. So that's it for today. And I will be doing the next part 2 of the trilogy. Like I said, this is a 3-part series of How Can I Help? And I just look forward to seeing you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.